Hey, what's going on? Welcome to episode 46 of the Grateful Yardy podcast. It's me, Drew, here talking to things them pond the ends. As usual, you can always hit me up at facebook.com/Grateful Yardy podcast. On Instagram, that is Mr. underscore special. On Twitter, it's Mr. Special. You can go old school and email me, gratefulyardypodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to go back and hear some past episodes that I used to do on an app called Opinion, it is the-grateful-yardy.maybethopinion.com. Alright? So the WWE took up residence over the last few nights in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. So I already gave you my rundown of SummerSlam. So if you missed that, hit us up on our YouTube channel and check that out. So tonight, before I get started into the Raw and Smackdown live reviews, I'm going to talk about some other things that happened in sports, i.e. like Kyrie Irving getting traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Boston Celtics for Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, first round pick next year, and I believe some rookie center. Kyrie wanted out of Cleveland. He got his wish, playing against LeBron now. And we'll see what happens. I think they open the season together, playing against each other on October 17th. So the NBA in the Eastern Conference, I think the power has shifted. Isaiah Thomas is a great player. And I don't know how he's going to coexist with LeBron. We'll see how that goes throughout the year. We don't know how Kyrie's going to coexist with Gordon Hayward and the players that got picked up over there in Boston. But it looks like the East has, as JR would say, business in the Eastern Conference has picked up. Okay? Also, we heard that John Jones got busted once again for using anabolic steroids. So his fight against Cormier, he got stripped of the light heavyweight title. Cormier is now back as champion. So once again, this guy beats himself. I think it's time we stop talking about John Jones. I think it's that potential super fight with him and Brock is probably off the table. They're both under suspension. If I think John could be up for another 4-year suspension, I think for him, his career as an MMA fighter is over. It's time to move on. It's time for the UFC, like I said in an earlier podcast, that it is time for the UFC to start building some new stars and stop relying on old guys that used to draw, okay? So, let me get into what happened on Monday Night Raw this week. So, we all knew at the end of SummerSlam, I keep saying Survivor Series for some reason, maybe I have that on the brain, but at the end of SummerSlam, we saw after Braun Strowman broke Brock Lesnar through 2 announce tables, etc., we saw Brock regain his title. And as we get into Raw, Lesnar comes out with Heyman, and they brag and they boast as they always do. And the main points here are that Heyman boasts that Lesnar pinned Roman Reigns, and the fans cheer this, and Lesnar smiles. And Heyman says, if there's conquering to be done, there's no one in the WWE or UFC history who does it like Brock Lesnar. Brock has some visible scratches under his eyes, and he held up the belt. Then our boy, the monster among men, known as Braun Strowman, makes his way down the ramp. And this was the man that manhandled Lesnar the night before. A loud chant of Strowman comes out over the crowd. They go face to face. Lesnar jawed at Strowman, who then Strowman grabs him by the throat, trying to chokeslam Lesnar. Lesnar avoids it, ran the ropes, but then Strowman catches him with a big boot. Following up with a power slam. Once Lesnar got up, he performed another power slam, and then Braun picks up the Universal title, holds it over his head before drawing at Heyman, who is at ringside. Strowman drops the belt, heads up the ramp while Lesnar is left in ring, selling that he's been destroyed once again. Lesnar recovers enough to look up at Strowman, who jawed him from the stage before going to the back. First match of the night, we had Big Cass and Enzo in a Brooklyn street fight. This is one thing I don't understand. Wherever WWE or any wrestling promotion goes to, the city, it has to be that city street fight. So they come to Toronto, it's a Toronto street fight, it's a Montreal street fight, it's a Kalamazoo street fight. Never understood that. So Enzo pulls down the top rope. This is near the end of the match. And Enzo pulls on the top rope when Kaz runs with the big boots. Kaz tumbles to the ringside. Enzo went for the chair, but Big Kaz returns and stomps his hand. Kaz sets up the Empire elbow, but fell over, clutching his knee before rolling ringside. A trainer checks on Kaz, who cusses, and it was censored. JoJo announces Kaz was unable to continue the match, therefore Enzo wins. Okay, let me give my point on the two things that happened on Raw. Liking the way they're building Strowman and Lesnar, no problem with that. I'm pretty much over seeing Big Kaz throw Enzo around like a ragdoll. I'm tired of it. Giving Enzo the fluke win, even if Kaz is injured, okay, it's a good thing. But I'm tired of seeing this. So we go backstage, and Emma's back there, and she's on the phone with Dana Brooke. And Emma vented that she's tired about hearing about Sasha Banks and claimed that she would have been in her match. She boasts about what she's going to do to Nia Jax because they have a match later. Then Jack shows up and listens as Emma continues to badmouth her. Emma notices that Jax is there and asks how long has she been there. Nia says the trend on Twitter will be Emma needs CPR. So we go to the match between Emma and Nia, and Emma starts by punching and kicking Jax before Jax knocks her over, drops an elbow on her. Jax dominates the remainder of the match and wins by the Samoan drop. Really, nothing really to talk about there. It's just very lackluster. I think they're burying Emma's character. That's somebody that's very talented. I think maybe Emma should move over to the SmackDown roster. Maybe there's people she can work with over there because the SmackDown female roster is kind of thin. So we have Elias in the ring, and he took jabs at Brooklyn because he's doing his thing where he plays the guitar. And he says how fans could live here. It's a shame. They're ashamed to. He says his song was about R-Truth. Elias recites some lyrics from R-Truth's entrance routine. Then he was just kidding at the time for some real music. So pretty much he was playing R-Truth's music to disrespect him. Then R-Truth's real music comes out, and Elias and R-Truth are the match number 3 of the night. Truth interrupts the song. Elias catches Truth with a punch, then hits the drift away, and that's the end of that match. Again, I like the character of Elias Sampson. I like what they're doing with him. It's a new take because how many years we've seen guys with guitars and the smashing it over their heads. It's kind of redundant and tiresome to see somebody actually playing a guitar, playing a guitar, and actually using it as a musical instrument compared to using it as a weapon. Like it. Okay? So then your boy, the GM of Raw, Kurt Angle, comes out, and the chant comes out, "You suck." He introduces for the first time in over a year, "Here comes John Cena." The crowd obviously dueling chants with "John Cena sucks." We know what city we were in, Brooklyn. Smart crowd is there over the weekend, so they do their John Cena sucks sing-along stuff. Cena shakes Angle's hand. Cena notes that the fans were all over the place. They weren't expecting him, he says. Then the dueling chants again. "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chants. He says, "Why am I here?" Cena asks. Then he saw Angle at SummerSlam. Angle asked he would like to come to Raw. They were booing. Cena asked if fans were booing Monday Night Raw. "I like Monday Night Raw," he says. Cena then accepts the Angle Invitational, but not because SmackDown is bad, but because he wanted to get face-to-face with a certain WWE superstar, which is Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns makes his way down to the ring, and they stand in the ring together. And Cena says, "Wait a second, Mr. Roman Reigns. You are exactly who I was looking for. Reigns says the only time Cena ever looks for him is when he's running his mouth on Twitter. And then he also says, now that you're in my yard, the question is are you going to run your mouth to my face? Reigns asks, Undertaker chat breaks out, and Cena says, it seems like the Raw audience has been holding a grudge for some time. Cena also then says the problem is he did not come to Raw to talk. Cena dropped his mic. Reigns did the same. Cena removed his shirt. And then the Miz music played, and Miz comes out with his Miztourage. And Miz says, "This is what sold out the Barclays Center looks. This is what a sold out Barclays Center looks like." He mispronounced the name, and Cena called him on it. Miz asked, "How many moments do Cena and Reigns get?" Some fans applaud, and they thank the Miz. Miz said, "You were told in life that if you work hard, then your moments will come." He said he is sick of waiting for his moments while Cena and Reigns get all of them week in and week out. A yes chant breaks out. Miz then says he's going to take his moment and ruin theirs. Miz also says Angle seems to think that Raw needs the addition of John Cena, while the Intercontinental Champion rode the pine at SummerSlam. Miz asks if Raw needs Cena. It seems like a mixed response, and then Miz says over 18,000 people chanted no. Cena says he was a man of the people. He showed them himself out. Miz stopped him and said he wasn't done talking to him. Then Miz pointed out to smirk on Cena's face. Miz said this is his show. Miz turned to the crowd and said they don't know whether to cheer John Cena or boo Roman Reigns, and they booed Roman Reigns horribly. Miz then asked if he thinks that, okay, hold on. Miz asked if thinking it affects or anything affect Roman Reigns or Cena. No, it affects the only champion in this ring. Cena's shirt reads respect. Miz says he's earned his respect for over 12 years and questions whether his moment is now. Cena played to the crowd as you deserve a chant started. Cena says they could be giving Miz his moment at this moment. Cena proposed Miz and one of his lackey face him in the ring in the main event. The fans boo Reigns again. That's not a moment, Cena said. Miz says that's not a moment for him. That's a moment for Cena. Miz says he's in a suit and was not ready to fight. Then Samoa Joe's music hits and he hits the ring. Miz company clears out and goes to ringside. Joe says if anyone is going to team with Miz, it's going to be him. Joe says he's sick and tired of Reigns yelling at everybody that this is his yard. Joe says he's owned Reigns one-on-one, and then he turns his attention to John Cena, and he says, as for you, John Cena, and then hits him with a sucker punch. Miz and his crew went while Reigns and Joe worked over Cena. Joe went up for the attitude adjustment, slipped up before locking Cena in a coquina clutch. Reigns hits the Superman punch. Cena and Reigns stare down while the crowd chants, "You suck," both loudly. Okay, my take on this is this. Very simple. The Miz, to me, has been the comeback star of 2017. His stuff that he was doing over on SmackDown and on the show that got canceled, Talking Smack, was amazing. He pretty much is speaking the truth. Yes, I am not a big John Cena fan, and I don't really like Roman Reigns. I don't like them both. I think the crowd that was in Barclays this weekend is a very educated crowd. That's why they boo these two. And a lot of them are guys my age. Because, like I was telling the people I was watching SummerSlam with, it's the same thing. After a while, characters get stale. So if they're doing the same thing week in and week out, you're going to be bored of it. The kids might like Cena and like Roman Reigns and have their parents buy the merchandise, but me and you that have the money, we will pay the money to boo these guys because they're annoying. Cena only has 5 moves. He does the same thing. He brings out his flag, never give up. it's a superhero character, and people believe it and they run with it, and I don't have an issue with it. In the storyline context, I understand why the fans hate it and they're tired of it being thrown down their throats. The same thing with Roman Reigns. He wins the Royal Rumble. He's main evented 3 consecutive WrestleManias. They don't want to see him anymore. They're tired of him. Either turn him heel or put him back in the Shield. Okay? So The Miz did an amazing job to build this up. Joe did his job, did amazing stuff. I enjoyed this segment very much on Raw on Monday night. It was an awesome segment. Kudos to The Miz and what he's doing. So if I was giving out awards tonight, Miz would be my comeback wrestler of 2017. So we had a cruiserweight match. We had Grand Metalik, Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, and Rich Swann versus Drew Gulak, Davari, Noam Dar, and Tony Nese. Fans were waving. Fans weren't really into this match that much. And then Alexander hit Nese with the lumbar check. 1, 2, 3. Then your girl Charlie Caruso's in the back and she interviews the new cruiserweight champion Neville and boasted about getting his title back. Then Titus O'Neil and Kozawa show up and said they have a rematch on 205 Live. And then, which I don't watch, so somebody that watches it could update me and tell me, did Neville keep his belt? Don't understand why you make Neville job out the week before SummerSlam for him to win the belt back at SummerSlam. That was stupid. Angle's on the phone, then his son, Jason Jordan, showed up. They hug. Jordan says he doesn't want special treatment, but he just wants a match. Says he already had a match with Miz. He says he wants to face Finn Balor. Angle asks, is he ready for that type of competition? Then gave him the match. The new tag champs, as I call them, 2/3 of the Shield, which is Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, made their way to the ring. They're all happy-go-lucky. And they said they knew Sheamus and Cesaro would be looking for the rematch, and they could take them on all comers anytime. Then Matt and Jeff Hardy make their entrance. Jeff Hardy says that they were here to congratulate them. Matt issues a match challenge. Rollins asks if they were serious, adding that he grew up. They grew up. Sorry, give me a second. That they grew up idolizing the Hardys, and the Hardys said they want to be here to revolutionize the tag team division in Brooklyn, and Rollins says, let's do the damn thing. They get a ref, so we get into our match between 2/3 of the Shields and the Hardy Boys. And then we see Sheamus and Cesaro watching in the back on the monitors. Jeff goes for a poetry motion. Rollins moves Ambrose out of the way of the Whisper in the Wind. Rollins and Ambrose perform a sling blade version of the Heart Attack clothesline. Ambrose covers Matt, but Jeff broke it up. Fans chant, this is awesome. The tag champs perform simultaneous dives. Matt hits the side effects on Ambrose, gets 2 counts. 15:30 into the match. Ambrose knocks Matt off the ropes. Matt tags Jeff, twist of fate. Jeff performs a swanton, but Ambrose gets his knees up. Rollins hits a high knee. Then Ambrose hits a dirty deeds. Rollins covers Jeff for the 1, 2, 3. And then we see after that, Cole then recaps what happened with Lesnar and Strowman. Cole says Angle had once again made their dreams come true, and then he officially announced that at the next network special, No Mercy, Lesnar and Strowman will face for the Universal title. Then we are backstage. Joe is sitting, and Miz and his crew comes through and stands next to Joe. Miz says he always knew there was something special about Joe. He assumed that Joe stepped up and wanted to be part of the Mr. Ross. Miz said Joe has Roman's number while he has Cena's number. Joe then stands up and told Miz to shut up. Joe said Dallas and Axel would remain a constant presence outside of the ring. Joe said to Miz would do his annoying or unorthodox thing in the ring. Miz said they were cool. Then we had the new Raw Women's Champion Sasha Banks was introduced, she made her entrance while the broadcast team discussed her win at SummerSlam. Sasha noticed that she may be from Boston, but she left her heart in Brooklyn over the last 3 years. She ran through the biggest match in history in Brooklyn. She also spent well wishes to Ric Flair, which we all are in the wrestling world. Sasha then says she wants to defend the title the right way. She says she doesn't need to have Nia Jax watching her back. Alexa Bliss made her entrance and spoke from the stage. Bliss mocks Sasha for saying she will defend the title. She said Sasha is not successfully defending the title. She said that Sasha is a 4-time champ who loses the title whenever she defends it. Sasha said that Bliss either runs away or taps out like they. Sasha then invites Bliss to use her rematch clause. Bliss said that was a thought, but maybe she should, but she's not going to. No, Bliss says none of you Brooklyn fanboys deserve to see her championship celebration. Bliss says next week is a different story and she wants the rematch. And then Manx says it will be legit. She'll be known as a legit loser. Then we have a match between Finn Balor and Jason Jordan. Balor sets up for the kick on the apron. Then Jordan rolls back inside the ring. Crowd came to light. Then the beach ball return. So if you didn't watch SummerSlam on Sunday, during the tag team championship match, we saw Cesaro jump the barricade and destroy a beach ball. And I think I was having a conversation with somebody about this, and I think it's more or less people wanting to be cool at events. We all know you go to a wrestling show to watch wrestling. You cheer who you want to cheer. You boo for who you want to boo for. It's the North American culture of wrestling. If you watch Japanese wrestling, you don't really see that. They take it like a sport. So therefore, you don't see stuff like beach balls and stuff like that. So they chanted something about the beach ball during this match. Then Finn goes up for the coup de grace, scores a clean pin. Booker and Graves praise the performance of Jordan despite losing the match. Then we get to the main event, which is John Cena and Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe and The Miz with The Miztourage. Match appears to be in progress. Beach ball returned. The fans were cheering and booing based on nothing that happened inside the ring. It was a stupid beach ball. Okay. Cena stopped and watched the beach ball antics. Then the camera even cut to one. Security ends up with the beach ball and the fans boo. Cena acted upset about the security guard getting the ball while Joe applauded. The crowd did the wave. Cole said this is the fans were having fun. It's all part of a great week with 4 straight nights here in Brooklyn. Cena plays to the wave, then motions for it, but then Miz kicked him, then DDT'd him for a 2 count. Fans were still watching anything but the ring. This is after the 11 o'clock hour, so they overrun. The heels isolate Reigns. Then Miz performs his Daniel Bryan-like kicks, which look horrible. Then Reigns ducks one of them, rolls him up for a slam pin. Then Cena checks in. Joe puts him in the coquina clutch. Reigns ran in to break it up with a Superman punch, but he hits Cena instead. Reigns and Joe end up at ringside. Miz sets up for his finish on Cena, who is countered into the AA for the win. So John Cena and Roman Reigns beat Samoa Joe and The Miz. Cena held his jaw afterwards, and they went to the highlights. Cena and Reigns were talking. Reigns says to Cena, "My bad." They show highlights, and that's how the end of the show. So my take on the show, it was an okay show to get back in after SummerSlam on Sunday. They started the story between Lesnar and Braun Strowman. They made Braun Strowman look amazing. Like I said earlier, I enjoyed what they did with The Miz. I'm the Sasha and Alexa Bliss. I'm glad they held that off to next week. Also, the tag division in Raw were more fresher matchup. Like I said at the end of the SummerSlam review, there's more fresher matchups, having 2/3 of the Shield being the tag team champions. If I have to rate the show out of 5, I give it a solid 3. It wasn't something to blow your hat off. It was something amazing. It was a decent show, told the story for you to progress over the next 5 weeks to lead into the next pay-per-view, which is No Mercy. Okay? On to SmackDown Live. Okay. So we go and we see your boy AJ Styles opens the show. And he gets some chants and he says, "Welcome to the house that AJ Styles built." He said he's still United States champion after beating Kevin Owens and called him the workhorse of the WWE. AJ called himself that. AJ says that he was retaining the he was reinstating the US Open Challenge, and it starts right now. Kevin Owens walks out with the microphone in response and AJ says, "No, it wasn't happening." He said he beat him at SummerSlam. It's over. Owens says he didn't win at SummerSlam because history repeated itself and a McMahon screwed a legendary Canadian out of his championship. Owens mentioned Shane McMahon by name and on cue made his way out to interrupt. AJ did a little dance around the ring and grabbed the microphone. Shane told Owens that he called the match right down the middle and said he would, and AJ won the match fair and square. Owens complains about Shane's assaulting him and getting knocked out after being grazed by a 450 splash. Owens drew some footage of AJ's foot being on the ropes for a pinfall, complaining that Shane slapped the mat 3 times before seeing his foot. The ref 2 weeks ago didn't even notice his shoulder up and the count stood, so Shane should as well. Owens demanding Shane to give him a United States Championship rematch. Shane told him the better man won and that Owens bickered. AJ told him to shut up. Owens called him he called Owens a whiny bitch ass and told him that he'd give him another shot because nothing would change. He'd beat him again, and that he gave him the match if he would shut up. Shane made the match against his better judgment. Owens then said he got screwed by the WWE official, and he got screwed by Shane McMahon, and he would like to name his own ref. AJ like any idiot would agree to be the ref. He could beat Owens no matter what ref, who's the ref. So backstage, we see Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers approached by Daniel Bryan. They talk about SummerSlam. I keep saying Survivor Series. Talk about SummerSlam and international success because of him. And that Daniel Bryan, should bow in the presence of Jinder Mahal. Bryan says he sees a man who can't win without the help of the Singh brothers, and he thinks Shinsuke Nakamura deserves some retribution. Mahal complained about having to defend the title so soon. Then Bryan said he didn't have to face Nakamura, but the Singh brothers do. Also backstage, Kevin Owens asked his longtime brethren, Sami Zayn, to be his referee, since he's the only one he can trust. He's known him for 15 years, and that's longest he's known anyone in wrestling. Sami says he recently watched Kevin Owens' DVD, and seeing all the memories made him question what they were fighting about for all those years. Owens said that Sami hasn't done anything in any real importance since coming to SmackDown, and tonight he has a chance to do something really important. In the arena, we have Aiden English singing a bit before he's interrupted by the debuting Glorious One, Bobby Roode, and his Technicolor robe and his entrance, and the crowd loved it as usual. So we get into the first match, which is Aiden English versus the glorious Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode is fired up. Bobby fires up the crowd with his glorious taunts. English responds with his own, Rose quickly then sends him out the ring with a clothesline. We go to commercial. We come back. Um, English then charged and sent English into the corner with a shoulder tackle. Then he hits the inverted atomic drop, a second clothesline. Then we went to the second rope to hit a blockbuster. English fought out of the fireman's carry, hit a director's cut for a near fall. English then went up to the top, but he missed, walked into the big spine buster. Then Rude hit him with the glorious DDT and gets the win. After the match, Rude is interviewed by Renee Young. She said he shocked the WWE universe with his debut. So how does he feel? Rude congratulates Shane and Daniel Bryan on breaking the bank so they could sign the hottest free agent in sports entertainment, and told the crowd that everything he touches turns into big box office. He said SmackDown just went from being great to obviously glorious. Okay, I was thinking that Bobby Roode, after he lost at NXT TakeOver on Saturday, that he would end up on Raw. I like the fact that he's on SmackDown. You can put him in that US title mix. I don't know if you're having him on SmackDown as a babyface, because it seems like he is on SmackDown. Everybody loves the entrance, but remember, you're debuting him in front of a crowd that is very smart, that probably watches NXT and knows him as a heel. So we'll see how this transpires as we go forward. Okay. Okay. So then we're backstage again, and Daniel Bryan apologizes to Chad Gable for the situation regarding Jason Jordan getting moved to Raw. Bryan then says he didn't give Jordan away to Raw in exchange for Kurt Angle help him sign one of his friends. He introduces Gable to Shelton Benjamin, so another debut or returning person, in the words of Shelton Benjamin. He told him that he think they would make a great team. Bryan said they can test drive their new team next week. Gable is ecstatic, but Benjamin looks a little skeptical. Gable says he followed Benjamin's career all the way back to college, and Benjamin said the same of Gable. Shelton attended the University of Minnesota, and Gable is originally from Minneapolis. So there we go. What do I think about this? It's a new tag team. I didn't like them breaking up American Alpha. However, we'll see how this tag team pans out. And if you do something where Shelton turns on Gable or Gable turns on Shelton, you got yourself a instant feud right there. The Hype Brothers are making their entrance to have a match against the Uso. We also see Kevin Owens is back there, and he gives Sami Zayn a rough shirt, and Sami tells Kevin that he thought about it more and more, that he thought about it the more he thought every rotten thing he ever did to him, so Sami refuses to offer. Obviously, because they've been beefing since Ring of Honor days, when he was the confused Mexican luchador. But we can get into Sami Zayn another day, another time. Match number 2 is your Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder versus the Usos in a non-title match. We got Mojo and Jay starts the match. Jay misses a splash in the corner. Mojo then goes for a gut-wrench suplex. Mojo then talks about the hype of Jay and hits a stinger splash. Jimmy distracts Mojo, and Jay hits him with a drop kick. Jimmy tags in, hits a running splash in the corner. Jay makes it back. They make a wish with Mojo's legs, and then Jimmy tags back in. He kicks Mojo in the chest. Jimmy then leaping leg drop for a near fall. Mojo knocks over Jay off the apron. Jimmy misses a splash in the corner, hits the post. Ryder then tags in. He clotheslines Jimmy, hits the back of elbow. Ryder with a face plant. Then Ryder with forearms. Then Ryder with a broski boot attempt, but Jay pulls Jimmy out of the way. Rollins then hits a double pounce on the floor. Jimmy with a super kick to Rollins. Jimmy then pulls Ryder off the turnbuckle, and then the Usos with the super kick gets the 3 count after the super kick. Okay. Like I said earlier, I don't have an issue because I think they put their eggs in their basket too early doing the Usos and New Day. Now that's a stale match. We've seen it 80 billion times. Nobody wants to see it. But we have to build up these new tag teams. So we have the Hype Brothers. We have who else is there? Now this new tag team with Gable and Shelton Benjamin. So all Breezango is another team that can come back. So it's a nice little freshen up way of the tag team division over on SmackDown. But we'll see, like I said, going forward, how these things will play out. After the match, Jimmy has something to say. He says SmackDown Live is on lock. The tag division is on lock. Jimmy welcomes everybody to the Uso Penitentiary. Jay says they have a message for everyone in the locker room. If you're not going, you are going to feel what the New Day did. You're going to feel like someone is creeping up behind you. It's not paranoia, it's the Usos. Then we see Nakamura walking in the back getting ready for his match. Both Sings are starting off, so we go into the next match. Match number 3 is Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Singh brothers with Jinder Mahal. We see both Sings start off the match in the ring. Nakamura kicks each of them. They go talk to Jinder for advice. Nakamura kicks Sonny, then sends Samir into the turnbuckle. Nakamura sends both into the turnbuckle. Nakamura with boots in the corner. Nakamura with the knee to Sunil and puts him on the turnbuckle. He does the same to Samir. Then he connects with the running knee into the midsection. Samir goes to the floor. Sunil joins him as Nakamura sends him over the top rope. Nakamura wants more, but Samir and Sunil attack Nakamura from behind while Nakamura is focused on Jinder. Samir with a kick while Sunil directs traffic. Samir with punches and kicks, and Sunil joins in. They Irish whip Nakamura to the corner. Nakamura kicks Sunil to the floor. Then he applies the triangle on Samir and he taps out. So the winner is Shinsuke Nakamura. After the match, Jinder attacks Nakamura, but Nakamura kicks and then hits him with a Kinshasa. And that's how that segment ends. Okay. Like I said on my SummerSlam review, I felt like Nakamura, the way he lost to Jinder was kind of cheese, but I'm getting tired of seeing the Singh brothers having to help Jinder keep the WWE title. If you're going to make Jinder, I understand Jinder is a heel, but not all the time does the heel need to use heel tactics like i.e. lackeys to win the belt, to keep the title. So it made Shinsuke look weak. Yes, Shinsuke got his retribution tonight. However, we'll see as the weeks go on how this transpires. So Kevin Owens is in the back. He continues to walk in looking for a referee. He stops Fandango and Tyler Breeze. Breeze says they may be off fashion police duty, but they can't be Kevin's referees. Fandango says that they can be sexy zebras. Then Kevin says no and tells them to get out of here and tells Fandango not to touch his shirt. Kevin says wait. Baron Corbin puts his hand on Kevin's shoulder and he says if Kevin wins, he'd like to get the first shot. Baron says Kevin better be a man of his word. Then we're back and Natalya says that the SummerSlam will be known as the day that Glow was unplugged. She proved, and I don't mean Glow, the promotion, the wrestling promotion, which is an awesome show on Netflix and you should check it out. And I believe there's a season 2 coming up for it. She proved that she was the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, like her uncle used to say, Bret Hitman Hart. Naomi, you can wipe your tears away and look at what a real championship looks like. Natalya says she is the new and forever SmackDown Women's Champion, and she will return dignity to the title. It's no longer Glow time. It's her time. Carmella congratulates Nadia on winning and they are happy for her. James says that it took 1,000,000,000 times to get the title. Carmella says she has one thing to talk about. Natty, you said it's your time, but remember, you're on Carmella's watch. As we all know, Carmella is Miss Money in the Bank. James says Natty is on borrowed time. Carmella says she let Natty have her moment at SummerSlam. When it's her time, she will exchange his briefcase for that title. James suggests that Carmella might do the cash in. Carmella gives James that look after what he said. So we go into the match. Before we go into the next match, don't have a problem with this. Like I said again, don't believe Natty as a heel, but if you have Natty as a champion, Natty slowly turns babyface, and Carmella cashes in on her, it would be a great thing. Then we have match number 4, which is Becky Lynch, Naomi versus Carmella and Natalya with James Ellsworth at ringside. Natalya pushes Naomi after a break, and Naomi hits a jackknife with a cover. Naomi with kicks to Natalya's legs. Becky tags in, and she goes to the turnbuckle for a forearm to the arm. Becky with a waistlock takedown into a front face lock. Natalya with a hammerlock. Natalya with a side headlock takedown. Becky into a head scissors. Becky with a drop toe hold into a front face lock and waist lock. Natalya goes into the ropes. Natalya then goes with a kick and a punch to Becky. And the finish comes with Natalya tags in Carmella. Becky hits an exploder. Naomi goes with a split leg moveset for the 3 count. And your winners are Naomi and Becky Lynch. So we're in the back. And it's Dolph Ziggler, which we haven't seen on TV for a while. He is asked, what are we expected from Dolph Ziggler? He says he is excited to reestablish himself in a backstage segment. He said he was watching a lot of Raw and Smackdown, and he has unlocked the key to what it takes to be a WWE superstar. He says he's going to have to start singing. He's going to have to play guitar. He will rap. He will dance around like an idiot. He says he will have a single spotlight and lasers. He says he will have a big, beautiful, fancy robe. He'll have beautiful women escort him to the ring. Not any woman, but a woman who glows in the dark. Dolph says that is what his plans are doing, and they'll see them next week. Okay, I love Dolph Ziggler. He's one of the top guys in WWE. He's one of the top workers. He bumps amazingly. But I just think personally, when he lost the World Heavyweight title, they kind of made him look like a pansy, and they put him in that horrible storyline with Lana and Rusev. I think you let this guy be who he is authentically, because we saw him on Talking Smack and he would throw shade out there. That's what we need to see. That's the Dolph Ziggler we can see. If we can have Dolph Ziggler tune into Nick, his actual name, and bring that character out, sky's the limit for Dolph Ziggler. All right. So Lana is on the phone, and Tamina enters, and Lana says that the ravishing journey to the title starts next week. Tamina wants to know what's happening this week. Lana says we're going to figure out why we want this journey. Lana tells Tamina to close her eyes. Remember the feeling in a locker room full of people, but they don't see you. They talk behind your back because you are different. Because we are different. She tells Lana, take those feelings and let them fester inside. Anger boils over. Lana tells Tamina to open her eyes. She tells Tamina that she can see the rage. Together they will crush the competition until Tamina becomes champion. Lana, maybe she might be a good wrestler down the line. Her matches with Naomi were okay. But I like the fact that you put her as a manager here, and she is like what we saw her do with Rusev, and that was very effective for Rusev. So maybe teaming her with Tamina makes Tamina look strong and effective, because Tamina is a big, strong woman. You have Lana with the Russian accent that can talk very well for Tamina. Sky's the limit. Maybe we'll see Tamina challenge for the SmackDown Women's title. So AJ walks into the back, and a referee, Baron Corbin, stopped by and says he made a deal with Kevin Owens. If he wins, he gets the first title shot. AJ says when he wins, there will be an open challenge every week. He tells Baron if he wants a chance, accept the challenge. Match number 5, which is the main event on SmackDown Live this week, Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles with guest referee Baron Corbin for the U.S. title. So we pretty much do what we normally do in an Owens and AJ match. They do their thing. Let me go to the finish here. Shane McMahon comes out and he argues with Baron Corbin about what he's doing. Owens then hits a low blow while Corbin and Shane are arguing. Shane pulls Corbin out the ring because of what he saw. Shane and Corbin argue. Kevin Owens wants to know what the hell is going on. Corbin gives Shane his ref shirt. Shane puts on the ref shirt and he takes over as referee. AJ drops Kevin on the top rope, then hits a phenomenal forearm for a 3, and that's the end of SmackDown Live. Again, we're coming out of this crazy week. I think normally the crowds are burnt out. This is 4 nights in a row in the same arena watching the WWE product. I think the crowd's kind of tired of it. I think it's time to move on. Did I like this show? It was okay. I would have liked to see more interaction between Nakamura and Jinder because of what happened. I like the fact that they're bringing back the U.S. Open Challenge next week and weeks to go forward. But if I had to rate this show, the show would get a 2.5 out of 5. It's very underwhelming. We've seen AJ and Kevin Owens so many times. We've seen it with the special guest referees. It's overkill. It's tiresome. We don't need to see it anymore. We need time to move on. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed my review of this week's Raw and SmackDown Live. I am not doing this every week. The next time I do a review of Raw and SmackDown is going to be after Survivor Series, which will be in November. So if you're not a wrestling fan and you don't really like to listen to my podcast, which I please advise you to because you get some knowledge about the sport and entertainment of professional wrestling, which I love very much. But the next time I do any of these reviews will be the next big show, which will be Survivor Series that happens in November. All right. As usual, you know where to find me. Facebook.com/Grateful Yardy Podcast. On Instagram, that's Mr. Special. On Twitter, on Instagram, let me get it right. That's Mr._Special on Instagram. On Twitter, that is Mr. Special. You can always hit me up with the email, GratefulYardyPodcast@gmail.com. You can go old school and go back and listen to some of the podcasts like I did. The URL will be in the description on our YouTube channel, which is the Grateful Yardy Podcast. God bless. God bless. Stay grateful. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.